Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the Guinness Six Nations 2023 competition. And this one is a very important game because at the end of the day, one of these two sides sadly has to miss out on going through and having a chance at the Six Nations title. Looking through at the table, the way that it sits, Scotland on 10, England on 10, France on 10. We do see Scotland play the Irish tomorrow, but these two sides sitting in third and fourth, whoever wins this game still has a chance of chasing down that Six Nations title. So we will have to wait and see exactly how it does end up going. But it's being played at Twickenham in front of a sold out crowd. Going to be an absolutely awesome matchup when it does end up taking place as well. But looking through at the starting lineup, it will be England's side at home. And a big news of the week was that Owen Farrell was not going to be in the starting side. It will be Ellis Genge, Jamie George, and Kyle Sinclair as the tight head prop. Maro Toje and Ollie Chisholm slotting in as the locks. Ludlam, Willis, and Dombrant, the loose forward trio. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion Dombrant's going to have a big game here. Don't know why, just think that he will. So let's see whether or not that will be correct, but it will be Jack Van Porfleer at number 9. Marcus Smith gets the opportunity at 10. Ollie Lawrence at 12. He has been absolutely fantastic throughout the Six Nations competition. We'll be hoping to continue that form heading into their last two games. This one up against the French and the next game up against the Irish. And then Henry Slade slotting in at number 13. Anthony Watson out on the left wing. Max Malins out on the right. And Freddie Stewart, a man who is normally pretty safe under the high ball, will be there at number 15. But we have already got Scrumlass in the chat. We have got Gareth. We have got Nazi. And we have got there. If he doesn't want to do this stream, I don't blame him. It's okay to go to bed, Hamish. No, I'm doing well. It's an exciting game. England versus France. A game that if I did end up sleeping, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'll be watching this game from my bed. But instead, we're ready to go. It's going to be a great matchup. As you can see, the French side looking as strong as ever. Bailly, Marchand, and Aldeheri in the front row. Flamore and Willems as the locks. Crew, Oliver, and Aldred starting in at number 8. Then Dupont at 9, Romain Intermac at 10. Demortier, he has been pretty impressive throughout the Six Nations as well. So I feel like it's going to be a good battle with the wingers if they can get possession, which is the main thing that both sides will be looking to do. Get it through the hands a little bit more, as there will be gaps out wide. Jonathan Dante in the midfield alongside Galfiku, a very strong combination. Damien Pinot, one of the informed wingers in World Rugby today, and Thomas Ramos starting in as number 15. Quickly looking through at the benches before this match gets underway. Walker, Vunipola, and Cole will be the front row replacements for the English. Ribbans and Curry, the other two in the fullback. Mitchell, Owen Farrell at number 22, and then it is Arundel starting in at 23. Malvaka, Wardy, and Falatea for the French. Talfafanua, Sekou Makalu as number 20. Now, they have actually gone with the 5-3 split rather than 6-2 like the French did in last week's fixture, or the 2 weeks ago. And they will have Luthu, Mofana, and Jamania as the last man as an option. And I hope the French stick it to the English with their largest baguette, says Gareth. May France win, says Johan. And also, greetings, Sarah, says Mountains of Asylum. Welcome international anthems on, says Nazi Williams. So, yeah, we are very close to the start of this match. And thumbs up for France, says Leon. Going to be an exciting game. Let's go Genge. Let's get a Marcus Smith fire up England. There's Blues Nate. Like I mentioned, this game for me is pretty much a knockout game. Whoever wins this still has a chance of winning the Six Nations. Whoever loses this contest, your dreams of the Six Nations are done. Kiwi ref as well. It will be Ben O'Keefe in charge of this one. It's going to be Marcus Smith getting ready to kick this one off. Oh, God, it's Ben. There's Scrumlass. Nod of the head from Ellis Genge, ready to go to battle here. In front of a packed-out Twickenham stand, like I mentioned, Paul Farrell left out, says Nazi Williams. I think they mentioned first time in 9 years he's been missing out on a starting lineup spot when he isn't injured or anything along those lines. So it's a big call, but seems to be what Borthwick wants to do. Let's see what Marcus Smith can have in terms of the type of match that he will be playing. Now we are underway for the Six Nations fixture, the second of the day, and it's taken nicely by Charles Olivon inside of the French 22. They will fire the ball back to Intermac, who goes across to, it is actually Gregory Aldred, sorry. Now it looks like they will be putting boot to ball. Nicely taken by Freddie Stewart at the back. Running it to the right. Galfiku takes him down. Jonathan Dunty tries to jump in the breakdown. Fiku, the ball was out at the back. So now France have got the position. Cyril Bailly decides against the offload to Aldred, who was on his outside, who now goes with a pick and go of his own. Dupont going off to the left. Going to be Ramos, first receiver. He will be slightly lurking around their backline, I would say. Evening, Hamish, as mentioned many times before. Don't know how you go without sleep, but thank you for bringing us live rugby. Says Josh Pike, no worries at all. And yeah, like I mentioned a bit earlier on, like for these type of games, I could be in bed, right? But I wouldn't be able to sleep. Like I've been awake for 20 hours or something like that. But knowing that this game is on, I just keep on checking the score when I should be sleeping. So might as well be up for it. Looks like Van Porfleet will be rolling it back. England in position at the moment. And here, a little bit of a battle in the chants. I can hear an English chant going around, but then also I thought I heard the French national anthem just before. Romain Intermac once again runs the ball at the line. Dupont goes across to Ramos, to Olivon. Almost finds the offload. In fact, he does get it to Flamand. Now the space starting to open up for the French. They've got a man on the outside as Thomas Ramos for the corner. And France score within 2 minutes. Try, says Gareth. A great start to the match for the French. 2 minutes in. That is how you silence an English home crowd, and that is how you know that there's plenty of French in attendance, because it's still pretty noisy at Twickenham at the moment. Thomas Ramos, 2 minutes into the game. First try of the match for the French. It was that offload from Olivon. Went to Flamand, and then from there was just space open for days. And a good pass from Dumetier to get it away to his flying fullback. Oh no, France, please. I don't want to go to church. My TV is ahead of Hamish, but Hamish is ahead of the stream on my computer, says Gareth. And man respects for Owen Farrell, 100 plus cats for England, says Nate there. Ramos, as soon as get any sort of space down that wing, he knew he was going to be a hard man to catch, and he's proven it time and time again. Freddie Stewart, he was caught a little bit out of or he's almost too far forward, unfortunately, in that scenario. I think he was expecting to have to make the tackle on Dumetier as well as the Ramos, which really left him not many options, unfortunately. 3 minutes into this match at the moment, France are leading 5 points to nil. It will be Thomas Ramos now with the kicking chance. Ramos taking some deep breaths. Now, the French, they do go head-to-head with Wales in their next week's fixture, whereas the English, they will be taking on the Irish. Kicks over, though, 7 points to nil early on in this matchup. But a very good start to the match for France. Those offloads look like they could be absolutely brutal up against this English defence, though. Actually making about 3 or so in a row in that scenario. One moment, we will go like this and like this. The Wi-Fi, I believe, should still be running smoothly. Smooth enough, anyway, to go all right. Now France back inside of their own 22. The 7 early points on the board. The penalty will go against Lewis Ludlam. I believe that was for side entry, but also could have been for not rolling away against Alex Dombrandt. He was slightly stuck in there for him, unfortunately. Also, we've got the goal. England says knowledge. And we'll have to try and fire back. We can hear the French national anthem being sung around Twickenham again. Certainly plenty of support for this French side. Galfier will be happy with the start of this match. They need to keep going, though. They cannot take their foot off the throttle. They need the bonus point win. That is one thing that is for sure, as every point is crucial in the Six Nations. Dupont now receives that ball off the back. Dupont looping around now, gives it off to Demortier. Decide that it would be better to flick it back. Almost stolen, a great spin from Gregory Aldred. He's got Damien Pinot. He didn't even see him, though. down the bottom side of the field, and it would have been Damien Penaud versus Jamie George. Now, I know who I've back in a foot race. It's going to be a knock-on against the French, maybe asking for an offside penalty, and they do end up receiving it by the sounds of it. It was a nice little lap around. How open was this pass out wide to Damien Penaud? But Aldrit was able to get through the gap. Yeah, if he went for that lobby pass to Penaud, I don't think Penaud was speaking loud enough there, though. France knocked on in a lead on the lead up to that try. There's Mountains of Asylum, and England need to settle. There's Kev Shaw. And go England, says Selenium. Just showing Gregory Aldrit there, hitting the ground hard. Got to chuck the wine. Says Scrumless. Looks like France did receive the penalty for an offside, and they look to be adding the 3 points here. Oh, Ramos sneaking a couple extra meters. Told to take a step back or two. After 7 minutes, we could see a 10 points. Now, right, they've got 100% so far for Ramos in this matchup. Normally pretty consistent. 74% predicted kicking success. The last 20 minutes is always crucial in these games. France's weak area, says Gareth. So the goal for France in this one will be get as much of a lead as you physically can before that last 20. That one has gone over for Ramos, making the score now 10 points to 0 for France. Now England, they'll have to make sure they are the next team to score. And go France, says Peter Lowe. Smash that like button, you monkey, says Mumbo Jumbo. Interesting way of approaching it. But yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to be back tomorrow for Ireland versus France. Ireland versus Scotland. And also all of the other games of the Six Nations that are taking place next week. Now, Dupont goes across to Intermac. 10 metres out from their own line here. The Frenchies getting off to a good start, says Selenium. Exactly right. Spiral punt from Intermac. Falls awkward. Freddie Stewart has to leave. That one wasn't quite able to cut it off. Good bit of territory gained by the French there. About 45 metres that kick travelled. Jamie George getting ready early for this line out. Seems like England are going to try and push the tempo. Seeing as they haven't got as many French reserves in the forwards this time, they may try and wear them out before they get to the second half. Now Smith goes back to Henry Slade. This is the first real chance for England with ball in hand. Then Porfliet goes across to Alice Genge again. So we've got penalty advantage. Marcus Smith goes for the kick in behind. Going to set up perfectly for Ramos. Now it is going to be going back for the initial penalty to England. The FF fire up England. France off to a good start, says Cathal. Very good start. And France should enjoy being in the lead because their era isn't going to last long, says Knowledge. And England will kick back in the next 10 minutes, says Kev Shaw. That kick has found touch for England. 22 metres out now, their own line-out attempt. And this is the furthest up the field that they've actually had the ball in hand throughout the first almost 9 minutes of this contest. Jamie George with the line-out throw goes to the front to Ludlam. Little bit of a juggle there, but I believe Flamand actually knocked it on in the process as well. In fact, it was Paul Valimza. A short ball to Jamie George from Jack Van Porfliet. Now looking off to his right-hand side, finds Lewis Ludlam. Straight over the ball, great work from Jonathan Dante, and the advantage for the scrum must have been over. And now France get themselves that penalty. That's not very nice, says Cathal. And also, how can they not last long? And most of France is over 25, says Gareth. That ball hasn't found touch for France. Now, Anthony Watson does manage to step around Damien Penaud, but he gets back into it. Manages to drag him down while he's still just inside of his 22. If Van Porfliet being told to use it once, I think England is going to win this one because they have more experienced players in it, says Knowledge. Jamie George to join that breakdown extremely early. That is one thing that France have been working on throughout the Six Nations, and it's slowly been improving throughout each of their games, is getting in the breakdown extremely quickly and winning those not releasing penalties. We've already seen one in this match for Jonathan Dante, win it just before. Die from Jack Van Poorvliet. And that one does go into touch, so it's a decent clearance in the end. In fact, both kickers doing very well so far with their clearances. Now 40 out. France with the line out. They're not allowed to huddle. That is one rule that they have changed in World Rugby recently, and that is you're not allowed to just huddle up. And also France, I think they're trying to work out how many players they're supposed to have in this line out. And England are usually docile in the beginning, but then all beasts later on. Watch this, Selenium. Just ask the All Blacks, eh? End of the day, the All Blacks thought they had that game dead and buried, and then the English fought back for a 25-25 draw. Now, Dupont had the ball knocked out of his hands by Maro Itoje. Those big long levers coming in handy. Now kicked him behind for Jack Van Poorvliet. Slapped down by Intermac to be able to stop it. I'm back down into the 22, taken by Marcus Smith. On outside of his 22, so won't be able to kick this one out on the full. Was dropping, but Intermac is there to take it. It's a fly half versus fly half battle at the moment, although this time Max Malins decides that he wants to get involved. The crowd trying to urge him to go for the line break. Doesn't quite get through on the halfway line, though. Van Poorvliet, inside ball, Genj to George, and that's going to be a knock-on in the breakdown from Alice Genj, unfortunately, for the English. Maybe just rushing it a little bit much there, and the French always disappoint when they have to rise up to the occasion in the last 30 to 20 minutes. They also make cringy, stupid errors, says Knowledge. Also, the fingers crossed from Nate to Selenium there as well. 12 minutes already gone in this matchup. It is going to be absolutely flying by. Was that raindrops? Is it raining at Twickenham? I think it is possibly just starting to rain a little bit. And your fingers and toes crossed, says Selenium. But the pack weight's 925 for England, 920 for the French. Seems to be those loose forwards where England have got that little bit more weight in their back. That is going to become a free kick to England for a bit of pre-engaging from the French. They may opt for the scrum again here. Oh, they're going for just a high boot here, England. I was wondering what was going on. I was wondering whether or not they realised it's going to be the mark taken by France. That was a bit silly from Marcus Smith. Didn't quite get that one right. England tried, don't, says Kev Shaw. England haven't really played well since 2019 World Cup semis, says Gareth, and lead crossed, says Nate. That one's going to be quickly taken by the English. Like I mentioned, the rain just now starting to fall. Slipperiness, who does it favour more? I think it probably favours England because they are used to playing in pretty rough conditions. Marcus Smith considered the offload, 25 metres out from the line. Max Malins goes for the kick in behind. It will go into touch about 7 metres out from the French line. Wearing my England shirt for good luck, by the way. There's Knowledge there. I actually do have a pair of English socks with the red rose on them, but I'm not wearing them. I'm wearing, what have I got on? I've got normal white socks on. Good afternoon in the UK. Just got in from work, which involved 4 pints of Doombar. He's playing rugby, says Eric. So currently we've got France, England. Whoever wins this still has a chance of winning the Six Nations. Whoever loses it, they're out. Not literally out, though. They do get to take part next year and also next week, but they don't have a chance of winning the 2023 Six Nations anyway. Now, Dupont, once again, will be kicking this ball downfield. Does fine touch. Watson takes it quickly. Gets it back infield to Freddie Stewart. Running it sideways. Seems to be quite keen on that tactic at the moment. Freddie Stewart, penalty goes the way of France as well. I support France. So I'm holding my, says Gareth, with the old joke. And I man the infamous English rain can either deliver for England or, says Selenium, and go Marcus, says Blues Nate. And who are they playing against, says Knowledge. Max Malins is a class act. He is. And it's been quite cool watching him for Saracens over the last few years because he slowly got better and better. And then there was pretty much no denying him international wing spot, which was a weird way of saying it. Pretty much international winger, sorry. It is 6 a.m., so my brain's a bit backwards at the moment. But yeah, he's just been playing so well for Saracens that there was no way you could leave him out without people getting really angry. And hopefully he has a good game here. Now Dupont. So this ball will now be available for the French. It's going to be Jonathan Dante, dragged down there by Jamie George. And so is Sean Stevenson, true. And he's kind of the opposite, isn't he? He's been very unlucky not to get selected at international level. Now kicked him behind for Galficu. Too much on it. Who is that person? Was that one of the trainers or someone was just in the in-goal area? And the pace that is being played is going to be the fittest team that wins. And I should mention once again, France going with the 5-3 split off the bench, same as England. But last week we saw France go with the 6-2 because they wanted to push the tempo. At the moment, England are pushing that tempo, and maybe France will start to tire. They've got some big forwards. And the question is, have they been tested to this level and this tempo as of yet in the Six Nations? Very Aldrit crashing that ball up now into Mac once again. We'll put it high. Game of territory early on. Slap back, or at least I think Watson tried to slap it back. It's come off Blue's hand, they've said. That is going to be play on. Van Poorvliet lined up by Pinot. A lot of quick decision making that's had to be made in this matchup, though, because both sides are certainly just in the breakdown, use it straight away. A little bit of a counter-ruck from Galficu, who's got a smile on his face while being crushed by two Englishmen. It's gone about 2 meters there. Nicely taken by Charles Oliver. Now, I believe Thomas Ramos trying to boot that one downfield. Nicely taken that time by Jack Van Poorvliet, who will boot it back himself. Down to Ramos again, goes across to Intermac. Another big long kick to Freddie Stewart, who is inside of the 22, runs it out, so won't be able to find touch on the full with this one. Taken again by Ramos. Moment, it's like one of those games of force back that you play at lunchtime at school. Of course, back when I was in school, I don't just show up to schools and say, let's play force back. Now Ramos waiting for that one to bounce. He's going to be 5 meters out from his line. Now I believe will be the time for him to kick this one into touch. Did get a decent enough boot on it in terms of distance, but didn't quite have that accuracy to get it down past 30 meters out from his line. Admire France pass though. And the French never fail. Their reign is supreme, said my dad, and I laugh knowing that England is going to smash them. Says knowledge. And thanks, I'm not watching. I like to know the fuel replacements might be on early, says Eric. And also, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, says Gareth. And I admire how France pants, though. Come in, Sinclair, get it together, fire up, lad. Says nay, like the stream, says Eric. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. They've now got themselves their first advantage. Yeah, England in an attacking position. Now, Marcus Smith. Instead of passing, instead decides to hang on to it. Jack Van Poorvliet now going off to the left-hand side. Looked like there was a rush defence from the Mortier, and they'll go back for the original penalty. Now, England have a big decision to make because if you take the 3, you're still down by 7. If you try and go for the corner and you aren't successful in that venture with the line out and you don't get points, what do? Marcus Smith. It looks like they're going to take the points on offer here. No, they're not. They're going to kick for the corner. England have known from the get-go of this match they're going to need plenty of points on the board to beat this French side. When on form, France play lovely rugby. There's Cathal there. Yeah, they will be going head-to-head with Wales, who were victors in their matchup. So you'd have to say that they've got a slightly easier last game to a certain extent than what the Irish will have, which will be England. So depending on who wins this game, theoretically, if England win this game and get a bonus point and Ireland lose to Scotland by a margin of more than 7, it will go down to the complete wire of the Six Nations competition, which I think is what a lot of people want, other than, of course, the Irish supporters, who are sitting at the top at the moment, and they do not want to go anywhere. Now, 10 metres out from the line. And the French have turned the ball over. That is a massive play from Le Bleu. Now the point will be looking for the clearing kick. England starting to trap France a little bit inside of their own half. And going for it. Come on, England. Love it. When they back themselves. Says Kev. Don't worry about it. It's always switching and changing. Says Nate. And also, I've got to do some work leaving this on the in the background. Thanks so much, Hamish. Go England, says Liam. So we will see you later on. And come on, England. A try would be nice for your supporters, says Atanet. Now it's going to be grubbed in behind by England. Bit of a no tactic. It was at a bit of a nothing one. A great kick downfield from France. Ball goes into touch. Smith tries to take it quickly. That will be from about 40 metres out from their own line. Now Freddie Stewart puts the ball high. We're trying to get through. Ends up lining up Ramos with a big shot to his spine. Now England's fullback here. I believe he'll have to run back because Dupont's going to go for the kick. Who had that one covered? They have got the end of Watson back there. It's gone through his hands and it's a knock on as well. That's why Freddie Stewart's normally back there. You can take those ones 9 times out of 10. I think you should consider being a rugby commentator. You're good at it. There's knowledge there. Although the only thing with being a proper rugby commentator is I won't get to talk to you guys in the chat. And I feel like that's what makes these streams so much fun. You know, like is getting the interaction going, getting to find out what you guys have been up to and your opinions on the game throughout it. Welcome in, ladies, says Nate. And the score says, Jack, at the moment it is 10-0 for France after 21 and a half minutes. Started raining at Twickenham, though. They're waiting for SJK. Seen Hamish all his suits, says Grumless. I'm not sure if me and him would be the same size. Unfortunately, he's quite a tall man. Sir John Kerwin. Now, it will be France with the scrum feed. And Kiwi, the chicken, of course. Now feeding the ball and looks like Gregory Aldrit might be considering going off the back here. Game update, please, says Kirsten. Currently 10-0 for France after 22 minutes. Now into Mac. Bumps Jonathan Dante, or in fact gives it to Jonathan Dante, who bumps off Jack Van Porfia around the side. Gregory Aldrit. Ball comes loose, but it's gone backwards. In fact, they feel that it did hit an English hand, so the advantage for France. Pop pass up to Gelfiku. Moving up to 22 out now. Dupont off to Intermac. Going for the grubber in behind. Looks like Pinot's not really chasing that one too hard at all. Marcus Smith manages to clean it up in the in-goal area. Gives it off to Freddie Stewart, who gets a massive boot downfield. Very nicely done. Who scored? It was, in the end, Thomas Ramos, who was able to get himself the try. I was thinking England will win this one. They're far too slow. I think I got that prediction wrong, says Brian. Have you ever actually thought about pursuing a career in commentating? Not hugely, to be honest. Just because I know that I'm still very, very new at this. We've only been doing YouTube for maybe a couple years at the moment. In terms of commentary, I've had no training whatsoever. I just talk fast, and that gets me here. But yeah, there's still a lot that would need to go into it before a commentating role in the future was on the cards. Now Oliphant goes across to Gregory Aldrit, moves through the tackle of Jamie George. Oh, Salah the dummy, beautifully done by Dupont, but then he dropped the ball. He outclassed Maratoge, then didn't end up with the mistake. Now Jack Van Porflia goes across to Jamie George. I get the turnover here by the looks of it. Or the French, I believe they're still playing the scrum advantage. And what a kick, says Kev Shaw. Yeah, great clearance from Freddie Stewart. That's one thing we know about him. He's got a long boot. And will always get at that 50-plus meters. Nicely taken by Ramos. Lined up early by Watson and Dombrand. Now the point goes across to Cyril Bay. Finds the offload to Gelfiku. In fact, no, sorry, it's Jonathan Dante. And your neckbeard looks huge today. Or is it just that deep shadow? It does look pretty big, doesn't it? I think it's probably going to be shaved off very soon. That's a great kick from France. 50-22 in their favour. But I think it might have been... I mean, this part's dangling down to about here. So I think it's actually the front making it look thicker. Cool, man. But you're doing a good job anyway. Says Peter Lowe. And bro, you're a natural man, gifted at this. Your commentary better than those who are trained on TV. Says Nazi Williams. And Ian Foster already knows he's not the All Blacks coach in 2024. That is true. He'll be enjoying all his money that he made. Because that's the thing. If he resigned, he wasn't getting all that money. He's made it through to the end of his term, or he will after the World Cup. Start already. Good morning, Hamish. Just got up. The Frogs 10 up, says Bodemick. Yeah, good start to the match for France, and now they go on the short side. Here comes, I believe I want to say that was Francois Cruz. Now Dupont goes across here, using the big forwards, 5 meters out from the line. Jonathan Dante, what can he do? Bit of a step there. Now, big run for from Flamand, like a running bulldozer. You're not going to stop him from there. And France take a 15-0 lead now. And Morena Blue straight up. And the try says, Gavin, thanks for letting me know. Kudos, young man. Mumbo Jumbo to, it was to Knowledge. And is it Razor? I don't think they've quite decided, but Razor's the front runner anyway. But whether or not they give him the job is a different story. But huge run forward for the French. And then Flamand, when he got rolling, no one was going to stop him. You could see him there lurking. Then he saw his chance, saw the gap, and just drove straight through it. And also, Adi Savia badly done too, says Neil. I'm watching live and due to the delay, really trying not to spoil his Mountains of Asylum. Appreciate that a lot. See, that's the thing. Some people just say it straight away, such as Gareth. But other people try and wait a little bit longer so that it doesn't spoil too much of the action. English done already, or English done early. Still time, but they haven't quite got it right yet for the English. In fact, it's been going quite wrong. Borthwick won't match Jones' achievements. He's new, and that's it. But he ain't no Jones, says Peter Lowe. Yeah, a lot of people, in terms of English supporters, a lot of people wanted Eddie Jones gone, but I don't think they realise what they had till he's gone now. And this game is making me chug wine, says Grumlass. And Foster hasn't worked out who was the chicken and the egg in the AB's camp. That kick is straight down the middle, 17 points to 0 in favour of the French now. But a very good try for Flamand. I hope the English get hammered from a Scotsman, says Darren Todd. So I assume you're back in the Scots to beat the Irish then, surely. Because this is the way that the table sits currently. And it's intriguing because Scotland play Italy last. So if they can win that game by, I believe it's about a 15-point margin over the Irish with a bonus point, it's going to be quite a fun last round of the Six Nations. Let's say that. Nicely taken by Freddie Stewart. The ball high there. Down towards the 22, just outside, so unable to take the mark there for Intermac. Forced almost into touch by Max Malins, but just stays in the field of play. I believe Mara Toge should be a clean turnover, and the penalty goes the way of England. And also, I make my return, says Toilet Smithy. Welcome back. It's been a good 9 months. Somewhere around there. I hope you are doing well, mate. Of course, there's Darren Todd. And England are not up to it. Ireland are going to murder England in Dublin. More worried about the Scottish game, says Brian. Southern Hemisphere will only have South Africa as a serious competitive team in 2023, says Neil Gamer. And damn Kiwi lads already on 20k, says Smithy Toilet. Yeah, we have been very busy. We've been doing sevens, we've been doing union, we've been doing league, we've been doing cricket, we've been doing all sorts on the channel. Now, Jamie George, that's a penalty to France. And there's a bit of obstruction that will annoy the crowd. You can hear them not too happy about it. Don't forget about Australia, says Alphasaurus. And I'm being humbled by France's performance, you know. There's knowledge. My workmate put 5k for France to win the World Cup. France, the dark horse, says Spider-Mick. Aren't they favourites going into the World Cup? They're close to it anyway. And Jack Willis plays for Toulouse, doesn't he? So he knows most of the French team. And you'll be doing no sleep, says Peter Lowe. Yeah, we're used to that on the weekends, though. And not popular, says Scrumless. It's late in Sinclair, missing tackles, FFS tackle lads. Another French line out on about the halfway line. Thrown in to the back to Flamand, the try scorer. Ball bouncing loose. Getting up, knocking it backwards. No, now it's called as a forward. Or knocked on, so now England are going to have themselves another scrum feed. I bet $19 on England Bruv. Says knowledge and why is not Kenya in the World Cup such a good side, says Neil Gamer. Unfortunately, they missed out on qualifying. I think they got beaten by Portugal, USA, and no, they might have beat Hong Kong, but they missed out because they did lose quite a few of their qualifying matches, sadly. And Neil Gamer, I don't fancy the box at all. I think the ABs will be the danger, says Brian. And with the performance by England so far, do you think Borthwick is targeting Ireland? You got to look at this game. This game was a must win because whoever loses this one is out of the Six Nations. Shees looks out, Katie on the bench, coming on in the second half. Says Blues name. Yeah, this one, both teams needed to win. But yeah, only one of them's going to. And at the moment, it's looking like it could be the French. I'm just curious to know how the odds sit because we mentioned about it on the Hurricanes game. They were $26 underdogs, almost came back to win it. At the moment for the French, I'd say that they're definitely heavy favourites. England, $7.50 underdogs at the moment for anyone wondering about how the odds kind of stack up. Now Slade, short ball. Freddie Stewart, 45 metres out from the French line. Now Marcus Smith pop past him. Max Malins tries to spin through one. And powerfully it goes across to Maro Itoje, his first real carry of the match. Now once again, going to the right-hand side. You're wondering, I feel like they need to try something here, England, in terms of that backline, but they don't need to kick it in the process. Do the New Zealand Rugby Union know what they're doing? The next All Blacks coach is Neil Gaiman? Probably not, but I know one thing's for sure. They'll pay him a whole heap of money and then not cancel his contract. Penalty goes the way of England. I think Jonathan Dante did leave his feet. Actually, I think offside as well in the process there. I just can't put a pin on it. Says it was Toilet Smithy and Crystal Palace and Man City coming up shortly. I'm going to do some serious switching, says Peter Lowe. It was a big shot from Jonathan Dante in there, and I think Jones would have made this his benchmark game, says Eric. Looks like England actually going to be taking on 3 points. Or are they? Yep, they are. Taking on the 3. I actually reckon is going to, or who do you reckon is going to take the Rugby World Cup 2023? I'm firmly in belief that it will be one of the teams on the New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland, France side of the draw. One of those 4 teams I think will take out the World Cup. Are you going to the World Cup? I'm not going to it, but we will be doing the commentary for all of the matches on the channel. The budget doesn't quite extend to go into France. Give us the link, please. Says Sherwin. If you're looking for a link, do you have a VPN, Sherwin? Because if you do, you will be able to watch it on RTE Player. I believe is where you can watch the Six Nations. I was active in these chats nearly 2 years ago, so hard to wrap my head around it. He said Scotland last week, says Darren Dodd. Did I say Scotland? I mean, I probably said about Scotland as that third choice out of South Africa, Ireland. I mean, they are on that side of the draw. I did say that side of the draw rather than, I just listed some of the teams on it. Could also list Italy. Could list, who else is on that side of the draw? Who else we got on that side? We don't really have anyone else big contender-wise, do we? Other than those 5. And I was like, nothing about rugby. I forgot everything. Says Toilet Smithy and Box will retain the cup. Says Eric and the Springboks says knowledge and Box are too predictable. And they got a power game and both Ireland and France dominated that area. Plus they lack the flair. A good team for sure. Beatable by the top 3. It's Virgin Media in Ireland, says Yoni. That will be the penalty to France. So they might take their 3 points of their own. Not on the RTV or RTE player, but it's on Ireland's Virgin Media player, says Ryan. I think I've watched one game on Virgin Media player with the VPN back in the day, and it was, I think it was Ireland A versus New Zealand A. I think it was. And the ref will beat the Box in the World Cup, says Neo. Also, yeah, how's it been, brother? Says Toilet Smithy. And Box maybe, but Wallabies and Kiwis going to throw a big spanner in the spokes. Or it's the spokes, sorry. I don't think Scotland will win the World Cup. but they are well capable of causing an upset and get out of the group as Mountains of Asylum. I would agree with that. Now, Thomas Ramos going to be lining it up for the three. So England just taken their own three. This will frustrate England because they thought, yep, we'll take the three. We'll just get some points on the board. And then they gave it pretty much straight back to Thomas Ramos, who just snuck it over, only marginally, but 3 points is 3 points. And now France lead 20 points to 3. Only 5 minutes remaining in the first half as well, I should mention, until we do get to the second. Does Marco Vanapola still talk here, though? Yeah, he does. He's on the stream a little bit earlier on. Box brings so much joy whenever they're playing. I love that team. There's knowledge. Taken nicely by Charles Oliver once again inside of his own 22. Do you remember Rio Gamer? I do. As well, we haven't seen him too often recently, Rio Gamer, but every once in a while he pops in to say hello. Now, England have been able to partially charge down that ball of the French, and they now have possession here, England. Passing off to the right-hand side. It looks like it was close to a French turnover in the breakdown, and it was for not releasing. And so I'm on yesterday, Smithy. There's Nazi Williams, and the Ireland and South African match will be the crunch. There's Alphasaurus, Les Bleus. There's Yoni. Great work from Willis, and then, like they mentioned there, isolation. It's actually pouring down at the moment as well, I do see. France or Ireland to win the World Cup, says Greg Gore, and England bouncing back a bit too late in it, says Knowledge. Although I always say if a side can score a certain number of points in a first half, the opposition has the potential of scoring the same amount of points in the second. You never know. And also, I hope it goes to the Northern Hemisphere, says Greg Gore. And also, Don Brandt getting smoked compared to Aldrit. Gareth there as well. Now there's going to be Hoodie on my shore. The line out throw goes over the top here. So a loose ball. It's going to be a head-to-head and nicely taken by Marcus Smith, putting the body on the line to keep it on the side of the English. Now Ludlam goes around the side. England have 3 minutes here to be able to score themselves a try. They've kicked it away. It's going to go straight to France. Thomas Ramos takes it nicely. They looked a little bit high around the collar for Max Malins. Now Aldrit tackled by Maro Atoje. Oh, they've got the advantage for the high shot. I haven't been in a stream in like a year, cuz says Toilet Smithy. Yeah, it's been quite some time, hasn't it? Will Borthwick come up with anything in the second half, or will it be 40-3? I think it will be closer in the second half. Like, I think at 60 minutes, England will be down by 10 points. We'll go with that. And France will be world champions. They defeat All Blacks and South Africa, says Danny. And France are way too physical for England, says Alphasaurus. Yet surprisingly, they have the lighter forward pack. Let's see. I think England come in at about 925. I hope England get the ultimate hiding, says Seamus. In there. Now, although not too much of a hiding, Seamus, because or else then the points differential for the Irish might work against them, depending on how the game up against Scotland goes. And in the first half man of the match so far, I mean, Dupont's been pretty solid for a side. I love that run from Flamand, though, so he's probably going to get a little bit of a mention. But Ramos has been busy, so I'll probably give it to Thomas Ramos. Now, that's going to be a 4 pass from England. Not their day today, and it's not going to get any better when the French have themselves an attack with 1 minute remaining. Who knows? FIFA World Cup gone south, Web Ellis Cup gone north for the first time since England lifted the Web Ellis Cup. Also, wait, no, you just got here. Says Scrumless. All right, I'll see you fellas in a year's time. Have a good one, because he says toilet. Smithy there. We will see you in 2024, I guess. $30 seconds left. I was doing some maths in my head. England much needed early try in the second half. And sad that the North only have 1 out of the 9 for the wins of the World Cup, says My Bad Gaming. I just think the French mindset is better at the moment, There's Alphasaurus. And the problem with England, they're not serious about their rugby. If they do, they can beat anyone. There's Buttermilk. That is going to be going down in the front row, so they will have a scrum reset. Carl Sinclair just left with his head well and truly buried in the dirt. And even if England lose, it's still not a bad thing, new coach and all, says Gareth. 2 seconds remaining. I'd like to think France won't just kick this ball into touch and instead would have one last attacking opportunity. But you never know. They might be pretty happy with a 17-point lead and say, yep, that'll do. 22 metres out from England's line, though. If you get another try here, you really put that pressure on them for the second half. So ideally, they want to win a penalty advantage at scrum time, I would think. They're pushing here. Momentum going forward. Penalty advantage. That's worked perfectly for the French. And now Aldrit breaks. Ball on the inside to Charles Olivon. And he will score the try. That is the third of the match for France now. And if the ref had blown on Dombrandt, would have been a French try. Here's Brian. Well, if it makes you feel better, the French have now just scored. And here's the coach for the Rose. It is Borthwick. At the moment. I didn't say try this time. You did well, Gareth. I don't see England at the semis in the World Cup and wheels can fall off. Oh, French come the second half. Who knows? There's Nate. England a wink or weak, says Blue. And England get better after they have a look at each other in the sheds for a bit. And well, says Yoni, yeah, a very one-sided affair for the first 40 minutes of this contest. The British to blame themselves for this embarrassing first half performance, expecting better results in the second half. Says Knowledge. But when Oliver is that close to the line, Marcus Smith shouldn't be the one guy trying to tackle him. Because that's normally not going to go too well. Like they're saying, Steve Borwick, he won't be happy. And British, it's England, says Darren. Come on, England, says Gianpaolo. Hopefully I said that correctly. And this has been an awful first half from England. Never seen them outplayed this much at home in the Six Nations. They'll be halftime, 27 points to 3. Ellis Genge just asking Ben O'Keefe for some sort of penalty, I think, at this stage. Okay, so Ellis Genge just trying to confirm something in the scrum. If I would have nailed him, just saying, says Nazi Williams, that camera looks like it is on his head. Says Carlos, and yeah, that was not fun to watch if you're rooting for England, and that's a huge psychology hit to England. Yeah, that second half, they're going to have to be very strong. And they will need probably, I would say, well, they need 4 tries anyway to get themselves into a decent position on the Six Nations standings. Whoever loses this game is gone. France at the moment, their points differential has moved up to plus 27. So they're slowly gaining. Depending on how that game between Ireland and Scotland ends up going, of course, will determine whether Ireland have secured the Six Nations for 2023 or if there is a possible one going the way of the defending champs, France. That is if they win this game, though, which we are still a little bit away from a result, 40 minutes away. Looking through at the benches, these will be the players for England that really need to turn this game around. Walker, Vunipola, and Cole as the front row replacements. They've also got Ribbons and Ben Curry as the other forwards. Alex Mitchell, Owen Farrell, I think, is going to have an absolutely massive game when he makes his way out onto the field alongside the youngster, Harry Arundel. But then for France, they've still got plenty of talent, whether that's Taufa Fanua, Sekou Machalou, Jaminia, Malvaka. They've got a lot of guys who could get the job done and keep that momentum in favour of France. I never thought England would be so poor at home as well. There's Alphasaurus. Yeah, I don't know what their worst first half scoreline is at home, but it's got to be somewhere near this, I would think. Definitely for the Six Nations anyway. I very much imagine the final day decides the champions. Right now, Ireland shouldn't worry about England. who have not turned up today, says Connor. And good evening, says Just Carl. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Are you back in South Africa now, Carl, or are you still in America for now? Oh my God, how bad are England? And they are brutal to watch, says Martin. Another team missing Farrell, says Victor. I think it would have taken more than Farrell to stop them from losing in that first half by such a margin. But I don't know, they just seem to be lacking those clean-outs and the breakdown. It seemed to be that they were a little bit late getting there. France have been quick getting in there. Almost home in Joburg right now. There's Carl. And also go France, go, says ex-Miggy. And there's 80 minutes in a game, says Stefan. Or Stefan. That is very true. Still 40 minutes for the English to try and fire back. Looking at the TAB, I mentioned they were $7.50 underdogs. They're only $18 underdogs. Who knows? Do you believe me now? Marcus Smith is nothing more than a good club player. He's out of his league in an England shirt, says Richard Campbell. I mean, this game, probably a hard one to use as an example, though, because who for England has looked very strong in that backline? I mean, Freddie Stewart, he's looked strong, I think, out of all the players. Then there was some careless kicking from most of the English players, kicking it back downfield. So, you're not going to get too much chance for a fly half if your forwards aren't getting the job done at the breakdown. That's normally rule number one. Get that ball back in the breakdown, and then you can use your backs. Got an hour to waste. My flight to Cape Town is at 8:30 p.m. I don't know who's the better team at Rugby Union. I'm a league supporter. I watch the NRL more than Union, says Potomek. And France are going to be tough to beat at the World Cup. Also, all good, sis. You always have ABs, your backup team, says Nate. So much work that has to be done by Owen Farrell and the boys in the second half, says Knowledge. Huge amount. But England will like to think they'll be up for the challenge. Similar to what we saw between Wales and Italy. Wales had quite a good lead going into the second half, and then it was Italy who managed to slowly get themselves slightly back into the game. They weren't quite able to complete the comeback, but I said a bold prediction, and I don't think I like it. And that prediction was that what was the prediction? I've forgotten it. My prediction was it was 60 minutes through. I think it's going to end up in the scenario of England down by 10. So I see them coming back a little bit. So if Viagra ad on ITV with two blokes in bed, I wonder, does any one of them need to take it or both? Says Brian. Well, they both have the parts that do have the ability of being used with such a thing. How many tries in this game so far? We've seen 3 tries from France. So we have seen a try from Thomas Ramos. We've seen a try from Charles Oliphant. And also we have seen a try from Flamand, the other man as well. Can't wait to read Clive Woodward's Woodward's take on this. Will he still blame Eddie Jones? There's Seamus. Good question. Eddie Jones. I'm curious to know how he goes for Australia. I feel like he's going to do Australians wonders. And some of the English might go, hang on, he wasn't actually that bad. Yes, we didn't like him as a person that much, but when it came to the rugby, he had a plan for us. Could have said Ribbons. And the mix, such a good player. And I'm from South Africa. Says a Mumbo. And ITV, adult diaper ad, and I think England need them. And also, I missed one earlier on. Watching from Longdale, South Africa. Cheers, mate. Says Knowledge there. The second half, breakdown definitely going to be the key for the English. I think France just need to continue doing what they're doing. They've had this game very well managed. There was only a wee patch when England were keeping France inside of their 22, trying to force them just that little bit further back. But other than that, they've looked pretty comfortable, and they haven't looked too phased with this English attack, who have only managed to get themselves the 3 points on the board, yet to get one try. France, though, they still need another try to walk away from this game with at least the 1 point, maximum 5. And can England come back to within 8 points, says Cameron? It's a tricky one. 8 points is a bit tight, maybe. Eddie Jones going to win the World Cup. What's up from Colorado? Says Pate there. Welcome in, mate. You are doing well. Currently, France doing extremely well the first half of this matchup, but we aren't too far away from the second half getting underway. This chair, oh no, it is not very comfy. It is made of wood, and I have sat here for quite a few hours. And there are four teams I'm looking at. These two teams are strong favourites. Says Nikilo there, and Marcus Smith had a bad game so far. Says Boulders and Steel. So the question is, does Borthwick now go, okay, I was wrong about putting Farrell off the bench and put him out there straight away? Or do you make a few changes? Another player who I haven't actually really seen in this match, Ollie Lawrence. We've hardly seen him, but that could be because of the fact that they haven't been able to get it out the back line, only having minimal chances. Marcus Smith hasn't had a bad game. The whole English team has. Did you see the deep fake video of Rob Kearney? I have not, Yanni. But yeah, like looking through this back line, Watson dropped the ball at one point, so he's been a bit rough. Slade's had a couple touches, but not really a huge amount. Good luck, England. You're going to need it. Says Nicholas. And also we've got the France is red hot in this game. Feel sorry for the Roses. That was from Munro. Yep. Second 40 minutes is going to be very much deciding for the English of whether or not they want it. You know, like so far in this game, not a lot has gone right for them. They need to think about it at halftime and go, right. Like at the moment, we are down by 24. We need to get back into this contest, score the first try of the second half, then score again in some form, whether that is 3 points if they really want it, but they've got to go for sevens here. Get themselves the first two sets of points in that second half. And we've got a game on our hands for that final 30 minutes or so. Marcus can't do much when the forwards are slower. The breakdown, as mentioned earlier, says Nazi Williams. Very true. Like at the end of the day, forward pack wise, it's hard to pick a player who stood out as well. Like I said, Don Brown was going to have a big game, but he hasn't really, unfortunately. Also, we have got there, hey, that is the most smartest, educated comment ever said today. Congrats, you leveled up. Says, it was Nate. And also, England is more dead without Farrell, says Neo. I love my ABs. When we lost to Los Pumas, I went ballistic. I always deport myself to Mars. Spider Mick there. And 24 points down. Needs 25 plus. Go in the second half, fire up England. Says Nate. And like I mentioned a bit earlier on, the benches, where this game could be won. If the English can get themselves a couple early tries in the second half, which is very optimistic, but it's a possibility. You never know. They've got Farrell. It's going to be a key for them, who may even come on at the start of the second half. Arundel's got some good pace. They're matching up with Mofana and Jamanier. Makes it very tricky. The forwards, you'd have to give the advantage to France. They've got Makalu, they've got Taufafanua, Wardy, Falatea, Malvaka. Those are all very capable players in the second 40 minutes. Currently, France have scored 3 tries, which means they are yet to get themselves that bonus point for 4 tries. They do get there, they will be sitting on 11 points minimum at the end of this round, maybe even 12 if they do somehow lose, which they shouldn't. And then if they do win with that bonus point, they will be sitting on 15 points, the same as the Irish with that points differential of maybe about 20 or 30 short, depending on how it does end up ending. Hey, lads, France are doing good. Also doing the contrary, says Jan Lebrun. Yeah, France having a very good first half in this matchup up against the English. And Fresh Prince says Octo dead. And also we have got, I came from the future. England turns game around and beats France 28-27. Is that correct? Jamie, do we trust you? I mean, at the moment, the TAB are saying that England are $18 underdogs. So you might make some people very rich if they trust you, or they might get very annoyed if that doesn't come true. And Vive la France says Octodad. And also we have got a leveled up cuz. And for slapping Chris Rock Gareth, Will Smith, I get replaced early or late. I think they've got to replace him early if they are going to replace him. Unless they look at the man on the outside, Ollie Lawrence, and go, we've seen him maybe once. So maybe we should replace him with Owen Farrell and get that 10-12 combo of Smith and Farrell back for the English. I would say we're probably about 2 minutes away from the next half of this game getting underway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We've still got this game and then also the match between Ireland and Scotland tomorrow. Nothing in the first half. Would point to an English comeback, says William. Cities from the future. Oopsies, it just really banged the keyboard. Underdogs are more deadly, says Spider. Make it embarrassing, says Stephen. With Ian Foster in mind, I've just invented a new word. Wokesaurus? Is that how you say it? Yeah, the second half. Crucial for both sides. £100 plus for an English fan to watch. Says Seamus. What's the most viewers you've had in a stream? Is it like Six Nations wise, Gareth, or in general? Let me know. Six Nations, I'm not too sure. I think maybe about 300, maybe 400, somewhere around there for the Six Nations. And then any game we had about 4,000 concurrent viewers for a match between South Africa and New Zealand, somewhere around there. Your accent sounds Australia. Where you from? I am from New Zealand. Although sometimes when I talk a little bit quicker and when I get a little bit more tired, I do kind of drag some of my words and I do sound a little bit Australian. I've heard that quite a bit in the past. And England, as always, built it up to have a good chance of winning. Can't wait to see Ireland next week. I know you're right. And bring on a Rundle. England need pace, says Kev Shaw. Right. The players back out on the field now. I'm looking around for subs. Who we got? At the moment, everyone that I can see is still from the starting lineup. I missed your accent. Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? Right. Have they made any changes? I'm getting my Owen Farrell scouting glasses on. I don't see him. Yeah, mate. Says Kev, who are you supporting? I mean, it would be nice to see England fight back a little bit in this game, just to make it a bit closer. But, yeah, whoever wins this game is going with a chance of winning the Six Nations. The loser, they are out. And Farrell's still not on. Not that I could see through my Farrell glasses, which, I mean, to be fair, I think I need glasses. I have to do the Jack Leach, get a good innings at the cricket crease, and then get a Specsavers sponsorship. Embarrassing, says Stephen again. Now it's going to be kicked off by the French. And nicely taken. Right. That looks like Ollie Chisholm, so he's still out there. Van Porfliet's still there at 9. And I just need a shot of the back line. Tell you whether or not he's out there. That was Freddie Stewart back there. Yeah, it doesn't look like Farrell is out there on the park as of yet. It's going to be slapped back onto the side of the French now. A big run forward from Julien Marchand. Dupont goes across to Ramos. Tries to carve straight up the middle. Tackle by Sinclair. Good pick up there by Aldrich. I don't even think he meant to pick it up that cleanly. Now Dupont goes across to Galfiku. Damien Pinot. Not a lot of touches of the ball for him so far throughout this matchup. Dupont considered going to the short side. Instead, will go across to the left. Julio Marchand once again with the ball. Finds the offload to Cyril Bay. Now around the side. Marchand. At the moment, it's an all forwards attack. And now they decide to use their backs. They go for the little grubber in behind. Picked up by Freddie Stewart, who will absolutely mammoth this one downfield. And that one's curling. Great kick from Freddie Stewart. That's gained about 59 metres, I said. English foul count is way too high. Yeah, they have given away a lot of penalties. Definitely in the breakdown. Seems to be that France are there extremely quick and England just don't quite have that clean out organised. I'll chant for England when Farrell come on. Says Knowledge. Thinks France will always we're always going to win this game. Says Cathal. When he's streaming cricket next, not too sure what our next cricket stream is because West Indies versus South Africa is over. New Zealand versus Sri Lanka will be more than likely over tomorrow, but we can't cover that one due to that copyright side of things. India versus Australia, they're batting on a road. So that one will more than likely go 5 days. That's a not straight line out throw from the French. Marchand complains, but you throw it straight to the man in close. Lee Jones saying never lost to France in Twickenham. There's Gareth. And France can never beat the box like this only by 3 points on their day. Yeah, that one was well and truly wonky. Now, England with the scrum on the 22A covering any NRL game tomorrow. Says Boulders and Steel. Not that I know of. A moment, I'll have a quick Google. I think the Tigers are playing in the Knights, aren't they? And then Dragons, Titans. I don't think we're covering either of those games, mainly because we will be sleeping during that stage. But yeah, depends. Because if I only get maybe 5 hours sleep, I could possibly try and cover one of those ones. But by the time we go to bed, I would have been up for about 27 hours or 26 hours, somewhere around there. So I probably should sleep for a bit longer than 5. Wait, was there another copyright? Sorry, no, but it was that original Sri Lankan one that we still don't cover any Sri Lankan games. And also, no games in the NRL tomorrow, says Nasi Williams. I'll be watching Dragons against the Titans, says Boulders and Steel. England win the scrum now. Jack Van Porfleet, inside ball from Smith. Around the side again. Van Porfleet gets close. Sinclair with the pick and go. They're 10 metres out from the line, and it is absolutely bucketing down at Twickenham. A mistake made by France. They do give away the advantage, just flopping over the middle of the breakdown. Now Smith. He's going to go for the pass off to Henry Slade. Tries to find the offload flick. Sits up for Henry Stewart. Or sorry, Freddie Stewart, I should say. Van Porfleet knocked on by Sinclair. Going to be play on because it did go backwards. And now they'll go back for the original advantage. I see the Drua got the Crusaders. I hope Razor gets the AB's job, says Roloff. He can't stop laughing at England for letting him go, says Neo. And English made a mistake letting Eddie go. And England wish they had Eddie Jones, right? Now, just like you wish you just sleep, says Saran. That's the thing. A lot of English fans, when they had Eddie Jones, they said, nah, get rid of him. And now that they don't have him, they're like, oh, he wasn't that bad. Like, yes, he was a bit annoying at times. Eddie Jones, he can be that way, but you know, he wasn't having England lose games by a massive margin. And of course, still new at the moment, Borthwick, so there's time for it to change. Amish, you must find these Six Nations games very tiring. Time difference is horrid, says William. The time difference isn't the best, I'll be honest, but we have been used to covering middle of the night games for a long time now on the channel, so it's not too bad. The thing that really gets you in terms of tiredness, quick tap actually taken there by England. But yeah, the thing that gets you, cross kick. Malin's, oh, did he take it? Did he take it clean? He's claiming the try. No, he's not really. I don't know what happened there. I don't know whether or not he was able to take it nicely. But yeah, when I play cricket on a Saturday, is brutal. So like I played cricket for about, I think it was 6.5 hours today, or 6 hours, somewhere around there. So I woke up at 10 a.m. yesterday, and it's 7 a.m. almost now today. So we've been up for 21 hours. Max Malins, will they call that grounded? Didn't have a lot of control over the ball there, Max Malins. An England player's not good enough. No coach will change that. How many England players make Ireland or France's 15? Can't think of one, says Stephen Marks. Try time says Kev Shaw. Fiji deserves the win against the Crusaders. There's Rugby 02, right. The TMO is reviewing this one for Max Malins. See, the crowd are saying there's no clear separation. It's going to be a knock-on against them, though, I believe. And Matausi would make the team, I reckon, is Nazi Williams. And Hamish, is there any news on who the front runner for the New Zealand coach after 2023? I assume Robinson, but it's always hard to tell because a lot of people thought Robinson was the front runner about a year ago when Foster was really struggling. But it's hard to tell. Like, there's an obvious choice, and then there's a choice that's probably going to be the wrong choice. And it's just what New Zealand Rugby Union want to do. Try all day long, says Kev Shaw. I believe it is now going to be the goal line dropout for Le Bleu. Jake Van Porflia, he's now off the field, and Alex Mitchell actually out there now. Don't write off Joseph. Says Stephen Marks, and also England scrum not good enough. There's Alphasaurus. Oh, into Mac, kicks it downfield. Sets up nicely for Alex Dombrandt, who's going to charge at the line. Just started a little bit, ran straight into pot and ended up getting tackled. Amara Toje back to Smith. Inge, wrapped around his bootlaces was Charles Oliphant, who's already scored himself a try today. Another good attack and run that time from Freddie Stewart, thrown around a little bit by Flamont, also a try scorer. And this match now, nice pass on the outside from Owen Farrell. So it seems like they have decided to make a few more of those changes now. Like I mentioned, Ollie Lawrence, we just didn't see him in this matchup. E. Jones grinning currently. He's into space. 25 meters out from the line. Mitchell goes to Smith. Now Stewart. Flat ball off to Watson. Mitchell again. Going to the right-hand side. Pop pass up from Chisholm. It's good phase play from England. Probably the most phases they've been able to put together in this matchup so far. Now Smith tries to pierce the gap. Mitchell goes across to Alice Genge. Offloaded back to Farrell. Now, good attack and run. In fact, that is actually still Ollie Lawrence out there on the park. I'm not sure who Farrell was out there for. Maybe Henry Slade, I should. Now Freddie Stewart. He's over the line. And England score their first try of the game. And it's none other than the flying fullback, the Leicester Tigers representative, Freddie Stewart. And that was the first of many that they will need to get back into the contest. And think you all want the Fozzie replacement done as soon as possible, says William. Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted Fozzie gone about a year and a half ago. Did you win your cricket, Hamish? We lost the final in the end, unfortunately, but still a very good effort from the team. Like at the end of the day, went from not winning a game last year to making it through to the final this year. Like there's still improvement to be made, of course, but that is what next season is going to be for. And Eddie will laugh so hard if English play Australia, or if England play Australia and England playing a bit better now, says Brian. Yeah, getting themselves their first try, and already it seems like that impact of having a new halfback and having Owen Farrell involved there. So Alex Mitchell was the man who helped set up that one with his passing. New Zealand Rugby Union not going to sack Foster, too much money. Foster not going to quit. He's not going to get any money. So he quit after the World Cup, says Bonamic. Or I think he is just letting his contract expire after the World Cup is what they're going with. So they're going to announce a new coach before the World Cup, but Ian Foster will have his job up until after 2023's World Cup. And then that is the cutoff where he will end up without it being renewed. Any news on Will Jordan's migraine problems? Will he be available again? Hope he is soon, but it seems to be lately, it's looking like it's going to be longer and longer till we see Will Jordan back out on the field, which is a massive shame because he's a very talented player, but of course his safety comes first. You don't want to see him end up with any sort of injury. That looked like a bit of a slip there from Freddie Stewart, and now France looking for their counter-attack. Sitting 30, in fact now 40 meters out from their line. Step from Ramos and great hands from Serobai, the big man. I'm going to line it up. And Mitchell is going to be the difference. There's Kev Shaw. It's a knock on from Marcus Smith. He's not having the best night. Max Malins just goes over to him, gets the pat on the head from a couple of his teammates, but he's disappointed here, Smith. And, well, at least he made it to the final. That is true, yeah. And like I mentioned, we went from not doing too well last year to doing a lot better this year, so more than happy. Also, I would laugh if New Zealand wins the World Cup, says Alphasaurus. Well, that's a scenario that I'm kind of interested in knowing how it would go. Because I think Ian Foster, if he was a World Cup winning coach, he'd probably get a coaching role for another team. Maybe not a side in the top 5 or 10, but maybe a side just below. And they'll give Ian Foster a crack for a whole heap of money. And he'll be happy as. They are just showing that Freddie Stewart try once again. Was able to drive his way over the line, sliding nicely due to that little bit of moisture on the surface. Borthwick not showing any emotion whatsoever. Good try, England. I'd love to see a no bonus point win for one of them, or better, a draw, says Brian. Possession in the second half. England have had 75% of it. And also, at least you made the final. And the cricket, good job, Amish. Says Rabio too. And think Fozzie will head to Japan. An option. Depends. Depends on where Razor heads. Will Joe Schmidt remain for the long term? Not sure when Sean Edwards' contract is finished with France. He has to be high on people's list as a coach. Yeah, see, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make Joe Schmidt head coach, even though he said plenty of times that he doesn't want the role. Like, knowing New Zealand, they'll be like, yeah, we'll get him, seeing as we've already got him under contract. We'll just pay him a little bit more and he'll be right. Ovies might win the World Cup, not because of Foster, Crusaders and Blues boys combined. Don't forget the Chiefs. They've got a few good players at the moment. Love your pod, brother. Cheers, Kev. Do appreciate that, mate. All fed in by France now. Big push from the English and they win the penalty at scrum time. That's the physicality that they need to bring out. Your green screen is off. Says Rabio 2. Which one? The one behind me is currently on. I'm not actually at the ground. I have to log out. Busy day tomorrow. Big ups to you, Hamish. All the supporters, much love, says knowledge. So we'll see you later on. And I'll also get some here. They didn't find touch England. That's the mistake that you can't afford. Now their line out, rather than being about 22 metres out, they will end up being about 45 metres out. And we have got Schmidt should stay in the mix. Can have a big influence, as cited in heads. All roll for England after this. Many players playing for their spot. Nice backline movement here, though. Freddie Stewart once again crashes at the line. He's probably been the best of the backs. A great turnover from France. That was Jonathan Dunty that time. Getting in there, and the French win the penalty. Irish Foster's inept skills would suit the Dodosaurus style of rugby and leadership to the match. And yeah, the Blues, Harry Schmidt, or Red Smith won't stay on. Also, thanks, Gareth, for the info. No chance for English here. Is Alphasaurus. Yeah, 17 points is still a lot to make up. And definitely with only 27 minutes remaining, that was a very long yawn. That's I've been up for 21-hour yawn. And it's due to momentum. And Box, France, and Ireland did not mess with the coaches this year. I think these three will be favourites for the World Cup. Here's roll off. It's like now Curry is out on the park. That is Ben Curry, of course, the twin brother of Tom Curry. Oh, sorry, Scott Curry. No, Tom Curry. Yeah, Tom Curry. Scott Curry is the New Zealand Sevens player, isn't he? Now France, sitting only 15 metres out from the line. Now Aldrit round the side. Maro Toje tries to hold him up, and he may have just been able to do so. It's been called as a maul. And now the ball has gone down. So almost a chance there. Stolen, and the breakdown there by Curry. Brilliant work from him. And England have got a back yawn as expected. Impressive stamina. Or impressed stamina. There's William. What do you think about the Crusaders versus Fiji and Drua game? I think the Fiji and Drua deserves the way they played it. I played cricket during that game, so we did have Rugby Itch on the channel covering that one. But in Fiji, in front of Fijian fans, winning that game up against the Crusaders would have been absolutely massive. And people will still be celebrating. It's the next morning in Fiji. People will still be celebrating that win. Now, the point, short ball to Flamand. Considered the offload for half a second, then decides against a Gregory Aldrit. Now trying to spin his way out. David Dupont goes to Sirobai. Now Dupont goes off to Julio Marchand. Loose ball. Dupont tried to kick it forward. Thomas Ramos does receive the pass now. And that seems to be something that France have done well. When there's a loose ball, they've been managing to clean it up. And my friend Pepper says hello from South Africa. There's Anthony there. Hello, Anthony's friends. That's going to be kicked in behind. Sits up. Freddie Stewart does nicely. Steps down the short side, but Dante makes the tackle again. Trying to look for that turnover. I think Ireland and New Zealand have a small chance of winning the World Cup. South Africa and France way ahead of everyone. There's Easy Ollie. Alex Mitchell going to be going for the box kick. Goal to use it. Let's kick that one downfield. Got some decent distance on it, but it goes way into touch. So that will be about 33 metres out from the line now. How's it from Cape Town? There's Jameis there. Also, I worry about Irish depth and bring a Rundle on. Says Kev Shaw. I'm a Crusaders fan, but Fiji deserve it, says Rugby 02. I think, sorry, we have got the Drew, though. What a win. Very good win. And Scott Curry got Indian ethnicity. By any chance? Not that I know of. No, my glasses frame snapped off. I accidentally fell asleep. There's Max. I had some Harry Potter glasses that the lens came out of, but they were only like $1 glasses. I'm sure that yours are a little bit more fancy. Mine Berg caps lock on. There's Blues Nate now breaking off the black. Breaking off the back. Jorge Marchand. Sirubai. Picks it up nicely. Like England was slightly rushing offside there for a second. They may have stepped back in time, though. Now kicked him behind Dupont. Going to be chipped up. Slapped back by Intermac. Flamand, the flying lock. He just moved like he wasn't a number 4, but he scored a try for the French. That will be their bonus point try as well here. Do you think it would be a good idea for South Africa to have Nigel Owens as their referee coach? There's Boulders and Steel. I mean, I'm sure that it will go decently for them. I mean, Nigel Owens, he's a very knowledgeable bloke, isn't he? He tried to late. And did you watch France versus Ireland? I sure did. We'll be watching the game tomorrow. Ireland versus Scotland as well. Should be a great one. And show me your sunglasses and wear them. I haven't got them on me. They're in my cricket bag at the moment from earlier on. But Flamand scores the second try of the match. He's having a field day. No hope now for England. Yeah, I think it's going to be too little too late for the Red Roses. The Red Roses is the women's team, isn't it? And England Rugby is like a one taste. There's Miles and Nick Minute. Says Nazi, and that's okay, says Rugby 02. And that was that was forward, surely. There's Scott there. Ramos. Take this kick. Hey there, Kiwi lads and fans. I'm back at a short rest. What a nice score. The Frenchies are making French loaf of the Pommies and go, France, go. Says ex-Miggy. Hi, says Yako. Welcome in again, Yako. $600 for my glasses. Says Mixie. Yeah, a little bit higher than the $1 Harry Potter ones. England taking a hiding, says Stephen. So if it was that last part that was forward, or you thought was forward, it was back by about 1.5 meters. Maybe even 2 meters, that one there. The slap back from Intermac. And the World Cup will definitely or will be decided by referees, as by the mix. Hopefully not. Arundel now out there on the field. They've decided to keep Marcus Smith out there a little bit longer for the English. Freddie Stewart goes up for the ball. That is going to be a massive knock on. Oliver now goes back across to Ramos. He's managed to dodge one. Going straight up the middle now for the French. And this is starting to open up quite nicely. He's gone for the kick in behind. Trying to set up Dupont. Marcus Smith back there, able to cover it. Wonder whether or not just the passing through the hands might have been the better option. Now, that is playing the man on the ground, I believe, there for France. They have to be careful with that. France trying to hold that ball in. Right, there's going to be time off. Go, France, go, says Paul. And also, Curry Cup started yesterday. You're going to broadcast some? I know you did the final last year, says Roloff. I've actually seen, it's quite hard to find the Curry Cup here in New Zealand, but we're hoping to do some of it throughout the season, hopefully at some point. It probably won't be in the next couple of weeks. It will be after my cricket on Saturdays is finished, just so that I have a little bit more late night energy, I guess you could say. And when the French smell blood, they're ruthless. Hey, Pommy's taking a beating. They're getting their hands on the ball. Not a huge amount. Not as much as I'd like to either, or I like to at the moment, I should say. And why no intermat kicking, says Rugby 2. I mean, Ramos, very good kicker. Actually had the highest kicking percentage of the November internationals, not last year, the year before, I think, and maybe the July internationals. He was quite high up there for his odds. Are they saying that France have scored this somehow? So he's dragged back their Marcus Smith. See, it's a tricky one though, because he's on the ground, Marcus Smith. He's being tackled, but then the French players continue to drive him back into the in goal area after that. So for me, that's kind of a bit of a like no, like picked up and driven up. Are you allowed to pick him up though when he's on the ground? You're not really supposed to, I don't think. So then he tried to get over the line. Then they're saying that he was initially short, and then a French player may have put his hands on the ball. I think that's what they're trying to say. Hello, Le Bleu. Now, has Marcus Smith been playing now? That Farrell isn't hovering over him, dictating him, says Marco Votapolo. He's struggled a little bit, but so has the whole back line. Really, and that lack flair and balls. It's going to be a try to France. Right, the try for France. Does you have no way that was a try? That's what they've done. Score now 39 points to 10. Marcus Smith apologises to his team. Got put under some pure pressure though from France. Ramos is better. That will be it. And also Max is a very expensive pair of glasses. And they got pure gold frames and well tries this side. And it's one of the more unique tries that we'll see throughout the Guinness Six Nations 2023. And English rugby has become a joke. There's no coach in the world who can motivate a group of players that lack if Miles and pick your current best in the world front row. Oh, off current form or just in terms of who's right up there? That's hard because there's a lot of good players at the moment. And I don't want to miss one and everyone go, why didn't you say him? But it's tricky. It's very tricky just to pick the one front row out of all sides. I'm both sure. There's a William. Well, highest score against England ever, says Rabio 2. And well, my sis, good to see you here and enjoy your lovely company. Hopefully, see you next weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. As well from it was Nate. And game done. Bring on Ireland. And Eddie Jones just texted me. Texted LMAO. There's not a try. Smith was tackled and he should have been released by Dupont. That's kind of, yeah, I was wondering why they were allowed to drag him back into his in goal area or pick him back up rather than after being placed. Normally, you're supposed to do the release, aren't you? Now, Freddie Stewart charging forward. He's one English player who hasn't given up throughout this matchup. Still trying his best, but it's not quite happening. And the loss against Ireland has motivated the French, says Ruben. And they've still got a chance of winning the Six Nations, depending on how the match tomorrow between Scotland and Ireland goes. You never know. Maybe there is still a crack for the final round, and it will be Ireland versus England, and Wales taking on the French. Also, he is to get back up after getting the ball on the ground, says Gareth. Our ref was guessing, are there no try? Defo, no try. Well, they put 50 on England. At the moment, they've still got plenty of time. 18 minutes remaining in this matchup. Now, Mitchell goes off to Farrell, first receiver. Now, Genge. Great tackle made by the French. Now, Mara Atoje. The offload there. Genge making the offload as well. That is now going to be a knock on from England again. Oh, First knock on by blue, then knock on by white. So I believe it's actually going to be an English scrum here by the sounds of it. And the $20 I put on England should have gone to get weed, says Lou. And France has become a real powerhouse in the last 2 years. I still think they peaking too soon, says Marvin, and can still take some back or take back some points in dignity. Yeah, it's a big margin at the moment, 31, and seriously, England should pack it. And at this stage, they've been absolutely ruined by the French. Borthwick has a lot of work to do to get this team anyway good, and Ireland needs to keep Johnny Sexton fit for the World Cup, keep their World Cup dreams alive. Yeah, it's probably, well, it is going to be Johnny Sexton's last crack at a World Cup, and be quite the send-off for him, wouldn't it? They were able to get themselves over the line as champions and down with the French filth. Scumbags French, says Scott. Now, penalty goes the way of England. Mitchell takes the quick tap, goes off to Farrell. Now Smith, oh, he's just knocked the ball on again, Smith. He's had a real rough game at number 10. Now the Pont rolling this ball back. Going to be kicking it off his left boot by the looks of it. No, switches it to the right instead. Taken by Stewart. 30 metres out from the English line, returning fire with a kick of his own. Straight into the hands of Thomas Ramos. Now, awkward kick in behind. Farrell has to wait for that one to bounce up, and it does sit up quite nicely. And now it looks like he's going to pin the ears back, Farrell. That's something you don't see too often from him inside. Ball to Ollie Chisholm. Now, Mitchell goes off to the left-hand side. Farrell went for the kick in behind. That's not the choice to make when you've got a number 6 trying to chase after, and now nicely taken by Dupont. Goes for the chip and chase. That's better when he's chasing himself. Ball sits up beautifully for Dupont, leaking up with the men on the outside. In fact, he goes for the grubber remind off his left boot. It's going to pull up just short of the goal line. Marcus Smith, no option but to take it back, and it will be a 5-metre scrum now for the French. Looking forward to Borthwick's spin on the match. Barbarians beat England 52 points to 21 last November. Could be the same. Says Gareth there. I know that this is going to sound harsh, but that's very optimistic for England to get to 21 points at this stage. They just keep on making simple errors that are leading to French possession, and France look like they're really starting to find their feet. They were finding their feet after 15 minutes, but they're finding it a lot more. Are the French physical? They're playing a physical game in the breakdown. Jonathan Dunty's been brilliant in the way that he has been able to get in there, get a couple turnovers in the process. Like Alice Genge now, his night will be done. See that he's frustrated. Marco Vunipola now makes his way out there. Marcus Smith, very disappointing. And the point unplayable, says Tamino. Gets very lucky bounces, doesn't he, DuPont? I feel like when you're that good of a player, the ball just also loves to sit up for you. And anytime it does, it's just a highlight reel waiting to happen. No one can blame Smith for his defeat. Well, for this defeat, says Gareth. And the score is looking like an England-France under-20s routing from yesterday. Now France, 5 metres out from the line. I see Sekou Machalou has made his way out onto the field. Now Mofana moving within 5. Oh, ball bounces out the side. Maratoje able to take it. Been very silent throughout this game. Smith is a living example that you can be excellent at club level, but international level, it's a very different story. Great at the Quins, but awful for England, says Connor Cahill. Thanks, Nate. I'm now doing nothing. I'm brain dead and going to sleep. Soon you have a good day. Now 15 minutes remain. England 10 metres out from their line. Lacus has got the French flags with the laughing emojis. And there as well. And this game illustrates how bloody good Ireland are, says Brian. Can't see the All Blacks beating France, says Dinesh. I guess the main thing is that they beat Italy. That's what they got to do. Now, penalty goes the way of England. And we were told to use it. Oh, Farrell kicks that one downfield. Does manage to find touch that time. Good stuff. You but hear that. Says Blue. I wouldn't be too hard on Smith. He is barely out of diapers. He's a great prospect who will get better, There's Mountains of Asylum. They're going to have to manage him quite well, though, I think, because like they've got to make sure that they don't completely knock his confidence. Because when he's playing confidently, he plays well. Like he's had no confidence throughout this game. You can see it on his face. You can see it in the way that he's running around the field. But if he's confident and playing well, then that's when you're going to see Marcus Smith as a very handy option for the English. We want 50, says Epic Gamer. Well, there's still plenty of time there, 13 minutes to be exact. Now, Alex Mitchell tried to grubber it. Why are they doing that? Just giving the ball straight back to France, getting forced deep. Probably going to be a 50-22 here if the ball curves the right way. Now, Freddie Stewart goes for the boot downfield. Pont takes it, goes across to Ramos. They've actually got a whole backline set here. Galfiku. 50 metres out, New Zealand will give France plenty of struggles like Scotland. Did they play similarly? They've played similar. That word's not rolling off the tongue at this hour of the morning. And also, we have the, you're bad when even Hamish is confused and perplexed by your style of play. It's just the decision making. Everyone could see that the French had that kick covered, and they have throughout this whole matchup. You don't really get too many chances to grubber it through, and France aren't ready for it. I've done it again. Why? Damien Pinot's there, ready for it. At least they're putting pressure on him this time. Farrell going in through the side. It's going to be instead Intermac, though, who takes that one. Back across now. Mofana, 2 meters out from the line. Dombrandt gets on it, and there's a knock on the ground. Good stuff, England. 5 meter scrum now. Sad day for England Rugby. What happened to the English? Lost the plot, no game plan. Headless chickens running around. French Roosters even the way from trying. And it's Marcus's forwards. A no-go forward today. Says Nazi Williams and All Blacks have never lost a Rugby World Cup pool game. Will beat France in the pool stage and lose against them in the final. Is Stephen. Damien Pinot, he did well to mark up, cover that one that was kicked in behind. But England, this is their chance. It's a small chance, but Dupont now going off the field. Can you play Rugby 22 again, please? With the puppy eyes. At some stage, we're hoping to play a little bit more of it. It's just more getting the time to be able to edit the videos as well. As if I was doing them without face cam, they'd be a lot quicker, but I seem to do this thing to myself how I'll try and have the face cam, make them slightly higher quality, and then they take a lot longer to edit. And France don't often win in Twickenham. They will enjoy this a lot, says William. Penalty goes the way of England. Quick tap taken by Alex Mitchell. Wide cut out pass. Stolen there by the French. And now charge down. Oh, penalty goes the way of England. It's going to be for accidental offside up against the French. Now Owen Farrell asking for the ball. Now Owen Farrell kicking this one for the touchline. He seems to want to up the intensity near the end of this one. Come on, one more try. Is that for England or for France, Ruben? I've seen England down by this much at home, says Connor. England getting a hiding like Melbourne Storm yesterday. Oops, sorry. Says Nazi Williams and Hamish. He must have a good rest. Body and mind needs to refresh and recharge batteries. Thanks for the great entertainment. Comatose now, says Ruth. Yeah. Oh, it's a miss. Oh, it's another knock on by Lewis Ludlam. Tell you what, as an impartial person in this match, even I'm getting slightly frustrated with the amount of errors England have had. So I can't imagine what it's like being an English supporter watching this game live. Like, it would be brutal. And it's just not good. You don't want this to be what people remember you for your Six Nations. The crowd started booing you. Not yet, but there are quite a few French supporters in the crowd. So maybe the English are booing, but it's just that the French's cheers have gone over the top of them. Mitchell going to Jamie George. Marco Vunipola with the short pop pass. Now Mitchell again going off to the right-hand side. Smith It was off, I believe that was actually the replacement Earl there. Oh, it's a knock on again. I mean, I know it's raining, but the ball is grip on it for a reason. Now into Mac, trying to fend off Owen Farrell, pass across Fiku. France going for the cross kick, but there is actually space in behind. Pinot takes it nicely. Now charging down the wing, dodges the challenge. Will be running into the corner. Freddie Stewart not able to catch him, and France will get about their seventh, somewhere around there. And Italy lost against Wales. He was just past confused. He's downright annoyed. When does this happen on a live stream? Says Connor. England have really had the Roosters stuck to them today. Is Gareth. Also, we have got there Will said to see, or well said to see what Eddie Jones does for the Aussies come the Rugby Championship. It's going to be explosive, I would guess. Another try. Damien Pinot been eagerly awaiting his chance. Actually got ankle tapped and still managed to get through it. OMG. There's Amigi. And for England, it has to be one big, massive disappointment. I would say, and it's usually difficult to get Twickenham tickets. That could change. Yeah, it was a sellout. I wonder how many people stayed. Ooh la la. It's me again. I was thinking about 2011 World Cup. My mistake. You ask. Is Stephen Marks. Okay. Not sure what happened there. Roman Intermac now taken off the field. That is for Melvin Jaminia. Make his way out there now. England have never conceded 48 points ever in the Six Nations. Can we score 50 points, please? Oh, we'd just be rubbing it in, wouldn't it? Like the English, they're already down and out. Half of their team's probably gone home. And now, highest ever score against them in a Six Nations comp. France are going to be loving this. Penalty to France again. England just aren't getting it going. And we're one try away from doing better than the Barbarians, and England have been demolished. As I come on France, another 20 points. 20 in 7 minutes. Tell you what, it's possible. Pretty sure there's nothing left in the tank. Yeah, you got to feel for him because I mentioned it earlier on. He's the only English back that I've seen who's given it his absolute all throughout this whole match. You can still see him keeping that ball in the field of play. Boots it downfield. It's kicked out on the full, unfortunately for him. So they're going to have to go right back to where he kicked it from and have England fans started leaving Twickenham. I'd assume so. You'd try and beat the traffic, wouldn't you? It's now going to be the French line out in 38 points. Oh, 38 points, wow. And why England kicking so much? I have no idea because I haven't seen it work once in this match yet for them. Le Bleu, says Sean T. Well, if you leave a French in a rose garden, you won't have a rose garden anymore. Out the back line again. Damien Pinot with a 50. This is incredible scenes for the French. And you can see the celebrations from their coaching box. 48 was already the highest margin or the highest amount of points that they had conceded in a Six Nations game. Now they've just had another try added on top of it. Nightmare for England. Yeah, they're going to have PTSD from this match. Well, Angelia, I can't stop laughing, says Sean. We had a draw with this English side. Shows how poor they are, says Michael. Yeah, they were struggling a little bit. The old Kiwis, weren't they? Damien Pinot does score himself another. That's a second of the match now. And Connor actually, Judas Priest, rocks it good, like the French. Bon appetit. Vive les bleus. And also, England need to play in some red band gummies. Can't hurt, says Blue. Yeah, like, I want to say that the handling errors are down to the rain, but it's just, I don't think it is. Absolutely fuming, says Andy. And the scoreline reminds me of the time England toured South Africa in 2007. And I'm so happy, says John. Okay, this is getting crazy right now. Although I do see the Irish colours in your flag or in your picture, Sean. So you got to make sure you beat Scotland, or else then France's points differential will probably actually be better than Ireland's by the end of this game. Can't blame the rain. France are playing it or playing in it. They're managing just fine. Yeah, exactly right. And the kick as missed. Wow. What a poor performance from. I'm joking. It was unlucky for Ramos. He's been very unlucky there. How about a 60? It's getting close. Convert a try here in the last 4 minutes. They'll be able to get there. Eddie Jones laughing now. He'll be loving this game. He'll be sitting in Aussie. Currently, I assume he would have got up nice and early. He'll be having his morning cup of coffee. Sitting there going, they said they don't need me. What a game, says ex Meggy. And the difference is, in class between these two teams is vast at this point. Freddie Stewart takes it again. Going to kick it out on the full. No, he's kicked it down the middle of the field, straight to the French. Playing straight into the hands of Ramos. Kicks it in behind this time, Marcus Smith. See what he can do. Looks like he wants to try and run this ball back, and maybe they'll even have an attack in the process. Here comes Marcus Smith with a bit of a step, offloads it to Lewis Ludlam. Good luck to those who play France at the World Cup, says Justin. And wow, absolutely shocking, says Stephen Marks. Now the line break. Marcus Smith. Can he have a bit of individual brilliance at the end of this game? Wow, he flew in like a wrecking ball there, Marco Vunipola. Advantage to England. Do the crowd cheer if they score? I think they will. Knees down. They do have to release him. It wasn't much of a release there. Sekou Machalou. Looks like he's going to have a bit of a wrestle with Domran here. I wouldn't be surprised if Domran drops a bit of an elbow. Yeah, he's been sat on by Machalou. Still have the penalty advantage. Irish here, says Seamus. There for just seeing the score. Yeah, it's a bit one-sided. England, I mean, they got 2 minutes left. I can see a comeback. Knock on, going back for it. And Eddie Jones fired after this. He's no longer the coach, and it's currently the Steve Borthwick era. The one to soon forget, perhaps. Now Curry, 10 metres out from the line. And anyone but those bombs, says the puller. Off to the left. England, 2 minutes left, 5 metres from the line. Alex Mitchell, 2 metres out from the line now. Alpha Fanua manages to make a nice tackle on him. Another advantage going the way of the English. Best bet for England is to just end up with like a French player getting a red card. Just to get something out of the game. Now held up, going back for the penalty again. Sekou Machalou can play back row and winger. What a man. He's a dangerous man. Well and truly. Like they've said, if there's a yellow card, it won't really matter for France. They've got 1 minute left, and they're absolutely loving it. Right. Marco Vunipola takes the quick tap. Pops it up to Ludlam. Oh, another drop ball. Are you having a laugh? It hasn't been their day. How's the Super Rugby going? But behind lately, very close games over this round. I think we had maybe 3 or 4 games separated by 7 or less points, which was quite awesome to see. France have blown the roof off Twickenham. The roof. Off the roof. Okay. They win. Also, we. There's a Nazi. And who you got between the Scots and Ireland tomorrow? I think it's going to be a good game. Ireland should win, but Scotland, I wouldn't be surprised if they are the bogey team for Ireland in this competition. It's because a lot of people felt that France were going to be. That wasn't the case. Thomas Ramos, player of the match. He's had a very good game. He's actually scored more points by himself than England. Here's a fun fact for you. The French lock has scored the same amount of points as England. That sums up the game. Says Jean there. Come on, Scotland, says Dinesh. And Ireland, France, South Africa, New Zealand, just a cut above. Starting to show. Although England are going to drown this World Cup, baby. Here's the ball. I've got no words, says Andy. And we're lucky to score 10, says TK. Down in the front rows again. Now, the full-time siren is just about to sound. Borthwick looks like he is very happy. Just kidding. He looks very sad. His team lost by 43 points. It's not a margin you want to lose by. Be interested in Rugby World Cup 2023. Fiji will cause havoc. Eventually, I score more just as much as England. Just Sean T. Yeah, and that's the moral of the story, really, from top to bottom. JJ says blue. For me, Scots need a bit more mongrel in their pack. Says Deborah. Now ball's going to be fed in. Oh, penalty for France. They might. What? Why wouldn't you have another attack here for France? What do you got to lose? Okay, they're going to take the tap and kick the ball out. They've decided they're sick of beating England badly. And they might as well go home. That's going to be the end of this match. 53 points to 10. The biggest amount of points that any side has ever put on England in this Six Nations competition. And the biggest was 48. And then they got another try on top of it. England need a bottle of water. Amazing victory, says Lacas. Amazing victory. Absolutely. 43 points difference. That now proves well and truly France's points differential goes up to plus 46, putting them 5 behind Ireland and putting them on the same amount of points. This Six Nations may be heating up depending on how the result goes tomorrow between the Irish and the Scottish. And great show, Irish, says William. 43-point victory, says Dirk. That end score is a clear picture of where England are at, says Martin. Bad idea to let Eddie go just before the World Cup year. Yep. And Borthwick, he'll have a lot of thinking to do. I feel sorry for Wales in Paris next week, says Brian. I think Wales will go all right, to be honest. I don't see them losing by 43. And he's streaming tomorrow, says James. We are going to be doing the matchup between Ireland and the Scottish, so be sure to stay tuned for that. I'm probably going to schedule that live stream relatively soon as well, maybe in about the next 30 minutes or so. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. Smash that like button, everyone, says William. And England was good for nothing, says Johannes. And what a game, says Rabio2. And cool. I'll drop in and have a good one, says Seamus. Yeah, you too, mate. Now, Les, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Tomorrow's game is going to be interesting. That is for sure. Thank you for your tireless work, Hamish. Guys, like the video, says Deborah. And also, we have got their great coverage, says Gareth. And watch this. Doris guy tomorrow is not all bad, says Michael. Yeah. One of the best players in the loose forward trio anywhere in the world at the moment, Caelan Norris. Him and Josh Van den Flair. You got money there. Those two are going to have a pretty good game, I would think. Unless, thank you all very much for tuning in. The next game will be at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, New Zealand time, and that will be the matchup taking place between Scotland and Ireland. That is the next one we are going to be covering. Appreciate it, Hamish. Thanks. And you're live when you're live again, says Rabio2. That is very true. That will be 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. And well done, France. England played bad. Yep, they did. They really didn't look like they had any shot for a majority of that match. And it just seemed like their tactics were wrong. Their handling was shocking. Penalty count was too high. What did they do well? They conceded well, unfortunately. But, yeah, not a lot going good for them in this matchup. And like the video, says Mark. And good luck, Hamish, on you. And thanks a lot. Appreciate it, says Jonathan. No worries at all. Yeah, like I mentioned, we're going to be back for the Six Nations tomorrow. And also next week, we will be covering all the Six Nations fixtures that are coming up. And were France great or were England bad? Both. But big time France played brilliantly. England played like they were in the under-9s. And even then, I think the under-9s might have given them more of a crack in some cases in this match, which sounds harsh, but it's the most points England have ever conceded in the Six Nations by quite a margin as well. Bye, says Rabio2. And England still morning over Eddie Jones, and England need it. There's Gareth, and England will get destroyed this World Cup, says Baxter Blades. Well, if they play like that, that was not an ideal performance. It's good to see you back, Baxter. You are doing well. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. Like I mentioned, back at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning for Scotland versus Ireland. I do thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the